What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Big Stu, Scott Stewart or Professor Stewart, depending on how you know me. And we are back with yet another edition of Dope People. And today we are not letting you down. We have an amazing dope guest. She was on the fence. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to reel in. I've been trying to get on here for a while now, but we finally made it. She made it to sit down with me. I am honored. Miss Toya Carter, better known as Miss Carter. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Awesome. So what I'm gonna introduce the people to. I'm gonna go through your overview, your resume a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna let the people know who you are. All right, so everybody listening, this is philanthropist Toya Carter from East Harlem, where she's lived for over 40 years. Ms. Carter is a former NYC public school teacher with a master's degree in education, as well as a license in early childhood and elementary grades. With over 20 years of teaching in the Department of Education, Ms. Carter recognized the deficiencies of preschool students entering pre-K. This prompted her, guys, to come up with a solution, Carter's Daycare, the bridge between the community and family, serving as a liaison, providing quality and nurturing learning in a safe environment. Her goal with Carter's Daycare is to provide and prepare students for higher learning by developing every child's cognitive, social, emotional, and physical well-being, starting at the early ripe age of 1. In addition to that, and we'll talk about Carter's Daycare in this conversation. In addition to that, Ms. Carter realized the importance of parental involvement, which led her to create E.P.I.C Project, or the E.P.I.C Project, Empowering Parental Involvement Coalition, E.P.I.C. The mission is to empower parents to build strong relationships with their children and strengthen the partnership with their child's school. Where were you when mine was raising my oldest two? But that's another conversation. Families will develop their capacity to fully support their child's academic, social, and emotional and behavioral skills to lead them to success. The E.P.I.C Project offers parents workshops that provide the tools needed to collaboratively build the village to prepare children for successful futures. Not only that, Ms. Carter is invested in her community, so she started the Harlem Cleanup. HCU, the Harlem Cleanup, y'all. They bring awareness to change the behaviors on preventing littering, which is one of mine, just like pet peeves, and instilling neighborhood pride. And I will add, while also increasing property values, but we will talk about that, while bringing communities together to do good by keeping it clean and giving back. At the Harlem Cleanup, they model these behaviors by organizing cleanup programs and give back events that show communities to love where you live. I love it. I want to bring HCU to Chicago.
Oh, definitely.
It's done. Let's do it. We encourage residents at HCU to take ownership by participating, changing the narrative, and doing the work to keep the community clean, safe, and beautiful. Ms. Toya Carter is also one of the members of the prestigious OSG Coalition, Off School Grounds, and she is invested in the community and children. This allows her to bring a unique experience to every family and every community that she serves, and she's bringing that unique experience right here and direct to you on Dope People, Miss Toya Carter. We got it, y'all. We got it, y'all. Thank you, Toya, for coming to the show.
Wow, thank you, Stu.
Man,
that was amazing. I feel great right now.
You are great. That's the whole thing. You know what? I appreciate you. One of the things I really, really appreciate about you, Miss Carter, is that you are humble. You are so humble. You are so freaking humble, something that I lack. I don't have that level of humility. So when I see that level of humility in other people, it's awe-inspiring. Your heart is huge. You're doing great things, and it shows. And it is, you are absolutely phenomenal, and it is a pleasure to be able to have this short conversation with you today.
Thank you, Stu. It is my honor to be here with you.
Well, let's get into it. So that's, that's what people, that's what you write on paper. That's like that's the bio, but that don't really tell us, Ms. Carter, who you are. We got our own method of figuring out, like letting the people know who you are in a very safe way. We play a game on here called This or That. That lets the people know who you are beyond the nice things that are written on paper. Do you mind engaging us in a game of This or That?
Let's go.
Let's go. So let's just jump right in. Gummy worms or gummy bears?
Gummy bears. They have to be soft though.
Okay. Apple or Android?
So I am an Android, but I have been sucked in to get an Apple. So I have both right now, but I'm Android.
You team Android?
I'm team Android.
Okay, well, we'll take it. Shout out to all the Android users out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Hard shell or soft shell tacos?
Let's do hard.
All right, cookies or cake?
Cake.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Talk or listen?
So I am a talker. I am a talker, but I know that I need to work on being an active listener. And that's actually one of the workshops that I teach when I work with the E.P.I.C Project. So yeah, but I'm a talker. I would like to be the listener, but I have to be mindful, like, all right, let them get something in. It's not about you. So
that's all right. A lot of people get paid to talk. So, hey, I'm a talker as well. Love or money?
Now, politically correct thing to say. Let's just say,
tell your truth. Tell your truth, Miss Toya.
I don't want to feel. I don't want.
This East Harlem in the building, y'all. We got East Harlem in the building, y'all.
So I have love. I love my community. I love my kids. I love. Love is there, but I need money.
Yeah.
In order for me to be able to do for the people that I love, I have to have money. So I'm going with money. Like, where's the money?
Shout out the money.
The love is internal. It's always going to be there.
The love is always going to be there, right?
Especially when, you grow up in an environment where the love is there. Like, love is there. It's not going anywhere. That money, I need it. I need it to be able to do what I need to do to bring the love amongst the community and people, because love is not getting our kids a good education. Love is not feeding the homeless. Love is not taking care of our neighborhoods. We need the money. And I don't like when people like it's love or. No, we need both.
Yeah.
We definitely need both. But
let's get that shmoney.
Yeah, our world unfortunately does not revolve around love. We need that money.
I love it. So this is the last one, because you on fire. So teachers or parents?
Parents.
Why?
They are the first teacher.
Why? They are the first teacher.
They are the first, and that's why the E.P.I.C Project exists, because it starts there. You're with the teachers are only with your child a year, maybe 2 if they loop with them, but that parent is there for life.
Yeah.
So if they have the skills needed, then it makes teaching that much smoother.
Hey, listen, tell us a little bit about you. What kind of student were you 6th grade through high school?
6th grade. So that talker, right? I was that student that always talked. And it's funny because when I became a teacher, of course, you have those talkative students. I was very average. You know, my parents, they, you know, of course, you want your child to be A's and B's, but I was B's, maybe C's. You know, wasn't failing, but I was, you know, average. I love school.
Mm.
You know, I love to be there.
To
I'm a
socialize.
social butterfly.
Yeah.
I like the arts. So, like I said before the interview, I was into dancing. So, you know, the combination of all educational arts is what brings that love into the school experience. Um, but you know, I did what I had to do. I wasn't a misbehaved student. It was just, you know, the talking. You know, raising a hand wasn't really something I did. I call out answers. My high school, so junior high school, you know, it's that transition. So you're coming into your young adulthood. So we had to struggle with that. High school, I went to all girls high school, so that kind of kept me focused. But honestly, I did not really be a stellar student until I got my master's.
Okay. And where
So
did
that
you,
was interesting.
what happened after high school? Tell us about it. What did you, right after high school, after graduation, what'd you do?
I went to college.
Where'd you go?
4 years, the best 4 years of my life.
Nice. And where did you, where did?
I went to St. Thomas Aquinas College. It's,
Okay.
you know, a little upstate. Wasn't too far, but it was far enough to get out of the city and have that suburban, you know, life. Actually, my year was the first year that they had so many predominantly urban students.
Okay.
So it was a little eye awakening for them. But you know, it was the best experience. I say to now, like, to be consecutively the 4 years, that was
Yeah,
the
no,
best.
because yeah, I even had to take a semester off, and then I transferred, and it took some credits away before. So yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big
Yeah.
deal. Congratulations to you for
Well,
that. Shout out to 4 years in a row.
4.5. Let me
4.5.
not even front.
Hey,
4.5.
we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take
Yes.
it. Shout out to that, for real. So what did you major in?
I majored in communication arts. So education, you could not have told me that I was going to be anywhere near education.
My next question. Yeah.
So I thought that I was going to be a TV producer. I'm into writing screenplays, like the big screens, like that is what I wanted to do. And God had another plan for me. So I graduated with communication arts.
Okay.
Degree.
Did you immediately go to grad school?
I did not.
Okay, so like me, you could not have told me. I just posted on Instagram recently. My mom was showing my son my high school grades, and they were worse than I have thought they were. They were I didn't even realize I had received an F in high school. I thought I'd never gotten an F, but clearly I was lying about that because there was an F on there. But I posted it on Instagram and shared a little tidbit about it. You couldn't have told me in a million years that I would be in education and doing it at the level that I'm doing it at. What was that for you? How in the world did you get into education?
So after I graduated, I actually was like a receptionist for the Montel Williams show. That was like trying to get in, but I did not move. And I'm like, okay, you know, where am I going? My aunt worked at the Department of Education's headquarters downtown. They're like, they're hiring. They need teachers. All you need is a bachelor's. So I was like, okay, let's go. I started, and ever since then, I was like, wow, I could do this.
What was the wow? What was it?
And so I was, of course, I was younger, and my first 3 years was teaching middle school students who were left back. So because I was still, you know, young, I was able to relate to them. So they thought I was the best thing on earth. Like, oh my God, like they were coming with me with their, issues. I was able to help. As far as academic, I was bringing in hip hop. I was bringing in raps for math. Like I remember making a rap about how to, what was it, PEMDAS. So I was bringing that energy to them. So they were like, wow. And I was the youngest teacher in that school. So the fact that I was like changing their perspectives, changing what they thought education was, I was bringing that fun to it. That was why, like, wow, I'm really changing lives and creating a difference within young adults. So
that's phenomenal. Let's back up. Give us some perspective. I'm born and raised Chicago, right? Tell us about East Harlem. What was it like growing up in East Harlem? What was just give us the 30 seconds, whatever, just the overall, what was it like, or what's it like to be from East Harlem?
So I have been born I was born, my mother happened to be in Brooklyn. So I was born in Kings County Hospital, but after I was born, came right here. So I've literally have lived where I live for 44 years.
Yeah.
So I really have nothing to compare it to as far as living.
Yeah.
Of course, I've traveled,
sure,
but living. So for me, East Harlem is the world. It's like the best thing. Growing up, I felt like we had it all. I live in a central location where I'm close to everything, like 20 minutes. So I can really get to anywhere I want with a heartbeat. So it was very resourceful. There's nothing like summer in Harlem. I'm into everyone coming out. So the love, like showing love, we're all out. We are just enjoying life. And when you grow up in a neighborhood where people watch you grow and they respect you, they've seen, the things that you do. Even now, when I have my initiatives with the Harlem cleanup, my daycare, it's like, I go around, people's like, yo, I'm watching you, you're doing some good things. So that gives me that energy and that strive to continue, because I do know, although it may be the littlest change, or I may be hitting I can't get to everyone, just like in a classroom, every student is not gonna go with what you plan on going, but as long as you touch one, and I feel like living in my community, I have touched one as a child and as an adult. So it becomes a part of, it's a part of me. Like Harlem is literally Spanish Harlem, East Harlem, El Barrio is me. It's me. I am.
Yeah, you are. I mean, that's now correct me if I'm wrong, but when I hear Harlem, when I think Langston Hughes, when I think about the Harlem Renaissance, I'm thinking East Harlem. Am I incorrect in that?
So when you are not from Harlem, East Harlem, then yes, that is, you just think of the whole, but I'm in Spanish Harlem. So that's more of like the south of Harlem, what you're talking about.
South
and
of
so
Apollo Theater.
I would feel like I'm a little like,
oh, okay. All right, I feel
like
that.
moving on up.
Okay, all right.
So we're more reserved. I feel like we're more and like Harlem is like, yeah, we outside.
Yeah, okay.
Right, but yes, it's the culture of Harlem. Yes, runs through. It will run through.
So you're from Harlem, born and raised. Well, born and raised in Harlem for all intents and purposes. And you're doing these work. Were you always the person who had this big heart, who was always trying to clean up and bring people together and do good? Was that always you, or did you like evolve into that person?
So I think it was levels. So yes, I am the type of person that likes to bring people together. like I said, like, the summers are the best because everyone's outside, like bringing people together. Now, what that purpose and cause was definitely elevated as I was more aware. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Yes, it's always been in me, but OSG has definitely tapped into that for me.
OSG, off school grounds.
Off school grounds has definitely, I'm surrounded by people who are, giving back. And so my give back was on a, on a shorter scale. But it definitely broadened my horizon to be like, hey, I could do this on a bigger scale. So it was more of, I needed that guidance on like the how to, because it was always in me. My mother used to say, I thought you was going to be a nun because of how my heart was, always worrying about, well, how is this person doing? Or I want to give, the homeless people, like giving my last or whatever it is. And now I see that with my daughter. So like, I'm like, girl, that's your last dollar, and she'll give it to the homeless people, walking around if she has anything. So like I said, that love is instilled in us, as long as you're brought up and your environment has that, you're going to always have that in you.
Let's switch a little bit. Let's talk, Dope People Podcast is designed to talk to some of the dopest people in education. They tend to be higher up educational leaders. And when I first met you at the beginning of this year, which I believe was January of this year, through OSG, through Off School Grounds Coalition, and the Zoom, the virtual meetups on Thursday, you were at the time running a daycare. And immediately what came to my mind is Jeffrey Canada, right? The Harlem School Zone, and reaching young people as early as possible and helping parents and children, right? So my question is, what is working for you in education today? Like, what's working for you?
So what is working for me? I appreciate the fact that they are now starting the education process at an early age. So we have the 4K, we have the 3K. It's going to go down to 2K. Like, it's literally going to go down to, once they're out of the womb, they need to be in a place that is education driven. So I appreciate that. Like, that is working. Now, what's happening inside is a whole nother issue, but the fact that we are now aware that,
get them early.
This learning has to start early. And certain people do it and other people don't, because they're
let's
just
talk
not
about
there.
that. Let's talk about that. And let's get into this conversation. Let's play, right? So certain people, parents, I believe parents are the first teachers. I believe we don't even really need schools. It's up to the parents to do everything. As parents, I believe, and I'm saying it on record, bring the comments, I might get backlash for this and all of that, but I believe it's the parents' fault why some kids don't read well. It's the parents' fault why some kids don't do math well. And I've been in heated conversations, where some of those parents are saying it's the school's fault. Like, it's not the parents' job. And I just don't buy it. We are, and when I say we, I generally mean me. We are and can be some lazy parents. What are your thoughts on that? Was it the parents?
Wait, I gotta touch on two things. We're
come
not
on,
lazy.
Come on.
We have a lot. Parenting is not an easy job. Okay, when you do it right, it is time consuming, patience. Like, you're dealing with a human that is changing every stage, and you have to have the tools to know how to do that. So a lot of our parents don't know how, because they were not exposed to how. So they only can do with what they know to do from their background. So it's not up to a parent and it's not up to a teacher. It is a partnership. No one person can do this alone. That's why single parents struggle, single fathers struggle. A teacher is struggling because you can't put this on one person. It's not a job for one person, because what I don't have, somebody has to pick up. And that might be a teacher.
I love it.
That might be a mentor. That might be that arts program. Like, it's so many components to raising a human, like to bringing up a human being. And that's what they are.
What do you tell what do you tell a parent coming from, South Side of Chicago, East Harlem, Spanish Harlem? We were average. We played a lot. We kicked it. We hip hop. Some of us drank and we partied and we did. And now we got kids. What's the first thing you tell a parent like that?
That you have to wear two hats until they're a certain age, right? So we can't be the true us in front of our kids. You just can't.
What do you mean you can't?
So yes, we want to go out. Yes, we want to talk. Yes, we want to drink.
Yeah.
Yes, we want. There's you. There's the adult you. Yeah. But then there's the mom that your baby child should not have access to right now, in my personal opinion.
Come on, bring it.
Just like a teacher has many hats, a parent has many hats, and your child is not privy to know the total you until they grow up and at that stage where they now, young adults, and now it's like, wow, because they're now facing with those experiences, right? So now you need to kind of expose how you deal with those experiences, so they know that they're not alone. And hey, my mom went through this. So point taken. Certain conversations, like when I entertain, my child is not in that atmosphere.
Wow.
When I grew up, my parents, they like to entertain. My mother was a design. She is a designer. So, she'll have fashion shows. She'll have, the house was party. She said once a month. So that's where I get that bringing people together from. But everything is not for everyone. And that also means your child should not be exposed to everything at an early age.
What does that do? What does that do for the child development? Because,
it can be traumatizing.
It's traumatizing. It's traumatizing.
Right? And the adversities that come up with growing up. If you're not explaining in a child appropriate way about what is going on. So we have to explain everything.
Go ahead.
When a child is asking questions, the why, because get to the age, it's like, why? You're like, I don't want to answer any more whys, but we have to, because that's the only way that they are aware about how this world works around them. So one example that I always say, they say, because I said so. No, it's not because you say so. It's a reason why you want the child to do that. And they should know that reason, because that's where they now start to build that critical thinking skill.
Come on.
So we have to explain. That's why I'm like, the parenting is it's a lot. So yes, I need time away. And that's another thing. Parenting is parenting, but then you are an adult with your own needs that need to be met. So you have to give yourself that time. And whether that is sending your child to school, sending your child to a program that's going to culturally expose them to something that will be beneficial, but you need your space. So I don't agree with kids being around their parents 24/7. I don't agree with that. There's a time, there's a place for everything.
You got parents out here who we have let our kids, and remember everybody, and when you hear me say we, I mean me. We have let our kids listen to music without filters. We have had parties with our friends and been drinking, and we have cursed around our kids, and we have argued and fight in front of our kids. We have done. What are you saying?
So that's normal though. So let's not get wrong. Yes, I've drank in front of my child. I don't curse. I don't.
Have, some of us have.
But there's cursing around, and it's all right. But what I don't condone is cursing at your child
in any manner.
Like, we're building vocabulary, so the words that you want them to use are the words that you use towards them. So if you don't want them to say the curse words, then you should not be talking to them with curse words. So I'm totally against that. Sometimes I have to check myself in the street, like, girl, you might get hurt outside the street, because I'm looking at parents like, did you just say that to him? Like, my face would just
So
go.
so I'm really interested in this. This is phenomenal because you're right. Just because we have kids doesn't mean that we're doing it right. And a lot of us parents, those aren't kids out there shooting each other. Y'all do know that, right?
Right.
We are the example. So when we're out and about adulting, the kids are seeing it. So I'm really, really excited and interested to know, and I want you to think about it before we get out of here. I'm going to ask you to drop a couple of to-dos for some of our parent listeners, even our grandparent listeners. I want you to drop us with a couple of jewels that we can practice today. You know what I mean? Just like start doing these 3 things. If it's you recommend, whatever they are, I'll give you a few minutes to think about that in the background, right? But I do want to move into this next question. So I asked you what's working for you in education. What challenges you? What's keeping you up at night about education today?
Actually, because I kind of removed myself outside the classroom, what keeps me up is that parenting component. I just think it's so crucial to education, even parent involvement. So part of the E.P.I.C Project is that I'm going into schools to try to bring that parent involvement. You have to be involved. And like I said, we are all busy, but they said that's not the good word. We're involved, right? We're involved in a lot of things around us, right? Because we need money. So we have multiple jobs. But we need that parenting component to be a part of the school system, and to let our children know that I'm here. I'm invested in you. They need to feel that. They need to see that. And the schools that do well have huge parent involvement, engagement for the most part.
The schools that do well.
The parents are coming out of pocket because they understand the value of education. It's not that battle of, could you do this? And everything doesn't have to be a monetary. That's what I'm saying. Your presence is everything. It was distraught when when I was in the early child education, people are not coming in to get a report card at the age of kindergarten. What are we doing? You don't want to know. So that part, I feel like, is what frustrates me in the education system. Amongst of the lack of research, like all that other stuff. But right now, my focus is just on that parenting component, because I believe that it will definitely do wonders with the child first, right? And then the school, in the school community.
That must, I can see that, because it's tough on parents. It's tough on some parents out here. Like to your point, particularly, and opening up Pandora's box here, everybody. I need a sound effect for this moment. But particularly when you have so many parents that are having children for the wrong reason. That was the most political way I could say that.
And what is the wrong reason?
Well, because they really don't want the kid. There's some parents, dads, who they don't want the kid. They don't want to be involved with the woman and the kid. There's some mamas out here who is having kids to keep the dad, and they really ain't about the kid. Like, those are some wrong reasons. They don't want the kid. They don't care about the kid. They don't even like kids.
I can't. And you can. That this could be the naive side of me, but I don't believe. I can't. I just can't. That people are really having. Yes, the first reason may be, I'm trying to keep him. I will not, discard that. But just to just bring a whole life, and not for nothing, those people that you're talking about have multiple kids. You don't, I don't think you could ever say that for somebody who's one and done. Like, I'm one and done. So those people that we're talking about have multiple kids. What I do think the reason is that they feel like that kid is going to bring something, is going to make a change. And when that change doesn't happen, then then you start to see these habits, these behaviors. So we're expecting children to either bring us the love that we didn't get from parents, our mate, right? The child is supposed to change our lives, our hearts, like, I think that's the reason why maybe it may be the wrong reason. So the children are being born because the person is trying to get something that they think this kid is going to give.
Even
that's what I believe.
I like what you're saying, but even to the point of, I don't even know if we fully know why we're having kids. I don't even know if we fully know why. I was having this reoccurring thought over the last couple of weeks. And luckily I'm saying this right now to you, Toya, we have the ability to edit, so this is being recorded, so some stuff could be edited. So if we get too deep, we know we can cut stuff out. But I was having this reoccurring thought. One is that I think I started to understand why the Supreme Court put a ban on abortions. Okay. I think I started to, and it wasn't about us as Black folks as much as it was about the population decline, and that, like, white folks need to be some more white folks out here. But also, what I'm noticing that we need some Black babies out here. We need some more Black babies. We need some more kids. Like, I don't even know if we fully understand why we were having kids, other than that's what we're supposed to do when you get a certain age, or you find somebody, or you get married, you go to school, you get a job, you have a family, and you retire. But there's got to be, to your point, like, there's more to, like, understanding why we're even having children, particularly as a Black community. Mm-hmm. You have any opinions or thoughts about that?
Well, I've always wanted kids, and I just thought it would be, it's an extension of me to a higher degree, right? So whatever I'm doing, they're going to do it better for this world. It's also allowing the family name, right? Because once you don't, it's like it ends right there. So we want to continue to have generations of our family links to be in this world. But I think you're right. I think we do need to talk more about, when you have a child, what do you want your end result to be? Like, what is it? Is it to continue your legacy? Is it to bring more into this world? Is it to just, right, we need to have a defined reason. And we don't talk about that in our family homes.
I don't remember
like you said, it's like
that conversation.
Yeah, like, what is the real purpose of this? We know we're supposed to do it, but why? That's the why, right? Nobody wants to answer our whys. So wow. Yeah, it becomes that. And I've never even really thought about that, but we don't have conversations with our kids about, either do you want kids or you don't, and then that's the end.
Yeah,
it doesn't go deeper.
When you talk about giving purpose,
right?
And I've had this conversation as well just this past week. We have to strengthen the Black families,
and that's another thing. We don't have those conversations, or that's not in our forefront, is because we haven't been brought up with that. Yeah. It's not in our environment. It's not surrounding us. And we have to surround ourselves with purpose in order to be able to deliver purpose.
So part of that purpose that I really resonated with me about the Harlem cleanup, the HCU. I despise littering. I despise it. It gets under my skin, and I pray that it doesn't so much, because it really makes the hair on my head stand up. Okay, like
with you. That the same face I give when I hear an adult cursing at a child is the same face I give when I see litter. And now I'm noticing it's more of these people driving. You just throw
throwing it
things
out
out of
the
your
window.
window.
Unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable.
I don't think the pet peeve was like that as I got when I was younger. I can't really remember.
I
if
know it
was
wasn't for me because I once littered. I did it. I did it.
right.
I used to do
But
it. Yeah.
But as I got older, and I would say even prior to my child, because my child knows, like she actually kind of brought Harlem cleanup to fruition. But yeah, my whole mantra is that everybody is flock. We always worrying about how we look, but look what you're walking into. Look at your community. So I tell the young people, you all a fly, but your neighborhood is not. Let your neighborhood match your fly. Like, come on.
Let me write that one down. Yeah, that's a post, because that's serious.
Yes,
so you got
like fancy luxury cars, and your car is driving down a block where there's bottles and litter all over the place. Like, come on.
Yeah.
What we doing?
Yeah.
What are we really doing? So, and I tell my friends, I'm like, I don't care. I just need you to hear my voice in your head when you're about to litter. And now some of them say, I was going to litter, but I heard your voice, so I went to go find it. That's all I want. So when I come out and I'm cleaning up, I'm not really expecting you guys to come with me and clean up the streets. Like, I already know where that's going. But what I do want you to see is these young children cleaning up your mess.
Woo!
It was to the point where my 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds were outside picking up garbage, because I need you to see that. I need you to see that your garbage, you got kids out here cleaning up your garbage, and everybody excuse, oh, well, we gonna leave for sanitation. First of all, sanitation doesn't, all they do is sweep the streets, and I feel like the garbage just goes, you just sweep the garbage to the next corner.
Damn.
Like, it's not about what these people are paid to do. What are you doing as a human being in your community? And if you just put some trash, people are watching you. I just had a conversation with the people that's on the corners. I'm like, look, I'm all for hanging out, but what I'm not for is I can see that you hung out on the block in the morning. Like, come on. It's as simple as a bag. Put a bag there, just throw the trash in the bag. It's that simple. But it's not happening. So the initiative is to get I want to partner with schools so that the children are getting community service to come out and clean up their neighborhoods. I've had I must give props to 110th Street First Ave, that on the corner, when they are out there, they will sweep up their mess. Wow. They will have a garbage bag out there. So this is where I want the mindset to change for that. And
110th Street First Ave in the building.
110th First Ave.
No doubt,
right.
No
so
doubt.
This is what we doing. And it starts with the youth, because then they're the next generation. So if this is instilled in them, then maybe we will have a brighter and better community as they get older. So that's what I'm pushing.
Yeah, that's super dope. Super dope. What does the future of education look like to you? Well, what would you like it to be? What do you imagine it to be? I asked 3 different questions, right? So what do you imagine? What do you think it should be? The future of education, coming from Miss Toya.
The future of education should really be preparing our children for the real world. And because our world now is changing with technology, so of course we're going to see more of that. I don't want technology to replace the humans, although that personal interaction. But yes, that's the route that it's going, this whole metaverse. I just want our children to be ready.
Yeah.
So they lack the financial literacy, they lack the business. And I'm not talking about waiting to go to college to get business exposure. in education. I'm talking about starting now, because this generation is starting businesses at an early age.
Yeah.
So this needs to be incorporated within the curriculum. Like, just, you know, the things that you get when you have to pay for an education is what I want the public education to give. Because there is definitely a disparity. Like, you have in Manhattan, we have our independent schools that are, you know, they're downtown, they're in brownstones. You go in, their lunch is healthy. They have all sorts of variety of foods. Their cafeteria is a dining hall. Like, right, let's expose our children to what life is, it can be if you go that route. So in the public school, education needs to kind of take heed to what is happening when money, right? Money, right? We need money. The love is not getting it for us, but that high tuition is. So that's what I want to see. And I want to see the change where parents are more involved, and parents now understand the importance, and to value education in our teachers, like value us.
Yeah.
Value the system. That should be number one, and it's not in our country. So that needs to change also.
Wow. Couple of tips for parents. You got any?
So my one tip is that you have to validate your children's feelings. Like, it is not okay to dismiss. It is not okay to say, really? You really crying over that? It's not okay. Yes.
Dang.
It bothers them.
Dang.
The same thing that bothers you and other people may feel like you really upset. Don't we hate when people say, you upset about that? Like, come on, let it go. No, I can't let it go.
Yeah.
And I need you to take the time to validate my feelings.
Wow, parents.
That's what I'm saying. This parenting job is not easy, because we are humans, and we let life kind of get in the midst of things. But we have to have patience. We have to understand your children's point of view. And we always tell them, I've been there before. Right. I need you to really go back to when you were there. And how did you feel when someone was not there for you? How did you feel when your feelings were not validated? How did you feel when it wasn't explained to you? We have to do more of explaining why. And the parenting starts in the womb. So you have to change your lifestyle once you know that you're having a baby. Like, that needs to change. And again, you know, it's versions of you that you're exposing to your child. So it's hard to parent, and there is no right way to parent.
Yeah.
So I want to say that there is no right way. We are learning, because the world changes. So things that we were doing back then, we can't do. Like, you can't give your child the eye. Like, that doesn't work anymore. And they know better. No, sorry, that doesn't work that way, because now it's about expression. Like, we're able to express ourselves in this world, right? Freedom of speech. Like, we're able to say how we feel. And so that trickles down to our kids. Just like in the workforce, right? They can't just tell you to do this, or, you know, and you're okay. No, you have to have reasons behind this. And so that's the society that we're living in. So that trickles down to the way we raise our kids. So, you know, I'm that child. And I would say, when I hate when they do this, like, oh, you raise your children like them. You know who the them are. Why? Because I allow my child to express. Your child is able to say, you made me upset when you yelled at me. Validate their feelings. Like, you screaming at your child, shut up. They supposed to just shut up, and it just turns off like that. No, it doesn't. They don't like when you talk to them like that. And they should be able to tell you that, of course, in a respectful way. And you should be mindful of that. You're talking with your children, not at and to. It's a two-way conversation. It's a two-way dialogue that needs to happen when raising a child. So, and again, you know, I'm learning. I'm picking out tools. I'm reading books. I'm trying different strategies. And now that my child, she's 10, preteen, she's going into that teenage years. There's a whole nother, ball game. But our kids are dealing with things that we have. I don't think I would have been able to deal with what's going on out here now in my teenage years. So we need to take all of, like, the world is changing. Things are happening. They are exposed to things, trauma that we, well, I can say for me, I know growing up, kids did deal with trauma, and there was no outlet, like no one really dealt with that. Even like for my parents, seeking help was not it. So they just grow up into this being, but parenting is not easy. It is not easy. And that job right there, never ends. And we don't get enough recognition on, a job well done. It's like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. No, not really. That's what we would want to do, but so.
Miss Toya, is there anything, because we're wrapping up, is there anything that you haven't had a chance to say that you wanted to say or hope that you would have been able to say today?
I do believe that love makes things feel, because it's an emotion, right? So we strive. No one wants to feel unloved. No one wants to feel upset and angry. So love drives that. However, the money allows love. Just allows love, right? It just allows you to love more.
The money allows you to love more. I love it.
I want us to stop saying, do we want this or that? Like, I don't want that anymore. It's just, yes, we need love, and yes, we need money. That's it.
That's what's up.
I'm pro love. I feel like, that is what, keeps us going. In my world, everyone is happy. Everyone is doing what they love. There is no bitter. There's just no negativity in my fantasy world. And that's, sometimes they call me, oh, you're a blondie. Because, I just want that. Look, I got a heart on my tattoo. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
And
that's what's up.
That's it. But I am very hopeful for the educational system.
Okay.
And the E.P.I.C Project is coming. Well, it's here already, but I want it to spread. I need our people to really take heed into the different tools and different way that we deal with our children. I need that to change. I want that to change.
Okay. Phenomenal.
And Stu, you are the bomb. You are the best interviewer there is. Host.
I appreciate that.
We won't tell him how the anxiety was up. I had to call him earlier before this podcast started. But
giving me so much credit. That's all right.
You definitely made me feel.
I want everybody, if you get to sit on this show, you should be on your toes a little bit. You should be, because this is a big deal to sit in Miss Toya's seat. This is a big deal. And so we are only talking to people who are doing it at a high level. So you are officially stamped dope. It is done. You are dope. It is a pleasure to have you in the network and to be able to talk to you. If you're ever over in East Harlem, ask about them, Miss Toya. Ask about the Harlem cleanup and how do you get involved. If you are a parent who knows you're struggling with parenting, look up E.P.I.C. Where can they find you on social media?
But yes, please follow the E.P.I.C Project. I want to get to our parents. If you have questions, scenarios, like, let's work this out together.
No doubt.
Because your problem is all of our problems, as we see. You said it's our kids out there, so we need to help each other.
No.
Carter's Daycare, Carter's Care for You. Is the umbrella, and with that is the E.P.I.C Project. We have the Harlem Cleanup is on Instagram. We have Carter's Daycare is on Instagram, and then the E.P.I.C Project.
And then you also, and all of this will be in the show notes, everybody. So if you're listening, and you're not able to write it down, just check the show notes. The links will be available. Are you also a part of Chicks with Kicks, or what's that? Is that
So I'm not officially a part of Chicks with Kicks. So I'm not really a sneakerhead,
okay?
Person. I'll go through both,
Okay.
I am part of the Cool Kids.
Okay.
Shout out to the Cool Kids. That's another little.
And what about
group within
Harlem
OSG.
Nerds? What about
Harlem Nerds? That's
Harlem
Netta.
Nerds?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's Netta and Pilar doing awesome things. So it's so much awesomeness within OSG. That the main goal is to get out there and make these changes with the deficits that we see are happening. So
And talk about real quick the project that you're working on with Jess.
Yes, the Global Connect. So Jess is from the UK, Scotland, and through OSG, I have connected with her. Also connected with in Africa, Tanzania, Mary with the Makuba Center. But the Global Connect is to really connect our children globally, right? Because like we said, we all kind of deal with the same traumas, but we feel like we're alone based on where we are. It's also to empower them to be entrepreneurs, to understand that their passion with whatever's inside of them can be put in the forefront to make their reality. That is your purpose. So while we having these children is because you have a purpose on this world, on this earth. And then until you understand what your purpose is through your passion, then right, well, what are we doing? What are we doing? So Jess and I have definitely come together, we created a curriculum where in the schools, and it's really to empower our children to be that change that we want to see around the world. So that's the Global Connect. That's also on Instagram, and it will show you how we're just out here. Wow. And our children are first.
Y'all better step y'all game up out there. There's people, Toya doing all this. She's one person. Y'all better step your game up.
Right. I'm like, wait a minute. I am doing like reality check. I'm doing all of this.
Come on. This one person. I know you listeners could step it up a little bit more if you ain't already. Well, listen, Miss Toya, we've come to the end of our time today. It has been an absolute pleasure. I love talking to the dope people. For me, every conversation is phenomenal, and I promise you this is yet to fail me. Every episode is more exciting than the last episode, and every episode has been phenomenal. Toya, you have again raised the bar on dope people. You have raised the bar. It's super exciting. For all of you all listening out there, you know what it is. Check the show notes to get with Miss Toya Carter. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you made it this far, #epic for a free shout out on the Dope People Instagram page. If you made it this far, #epic, and we will shout you out on our Instagram page. For now, you already know what it is. Until next time, peace.